can tell them what we're going to be talking about today. So, Shazmeen, I'm going to let you do the honors.
So today we're talking about anger.
Okay.
And how to deal with anger. Why do we get angry? And what's the ultimate to be if you're ever feeling angry? And then also, is anger right? Is anger wrong? Because a lot of people think, if I do get angry, that's a really, really bad thing.
Yeah.
I think sometimes also dealing with anger, being angry in the moment is allowed because there's so many justifiable situations.
Yeah.
But it's also learning what to do with anger and not letting anger live inside of you to a point where it controls you and it creates new narratives and stories. But learning that anger in the moment sometimes is really healthy because sometimes anger can push you and fuel you to do something amazing, or sometimes anger can push you and fuel you to do something really, really bad.
Disastrous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's literally looking as much as we can with the time we have on the 360 with anger.
So some people say that, you shouldn't let people see your angry side too much, don't let them get to you. But other people say that if you should be comfortable with people to let them know when you're angry. So which one is wrong, which one is right?
Okay, so no wrong, no right.
Okay.
But it's also discovering your anger personality. Because there's some people that are really explosive when they get angry. So naturally, they little things build up and build up and build up. And then when they explode, people know you want to get out of this person's way.
Yeah.
And then you've got somebody else who's, normally the passive aggressor. And they just sort of have a way on how they deal with anger and make people feel around them. And then you have somebody that literally is the person that any little thing happens, they're just always angry. Like, I don't know if you've ever met those people, literally.
For sure.
Yeah, who are just anything, they just need the wind to blow in the wrong direction and they will be angry about that. So it's learning about what triggers me to make me angry, and then also learning about, okay, if something does make me angry, does it need to be addressed or does it not? So it's realizing stimulus versus reaction, which takes you all the way back to the basics of psychology.
Yeah.
And when you look at also the neural pathways in which you get angry, here's a really cool fact. When anger is felt inside the mind, it releases a chemical only for 2 seconds, which means anything after that is you creating and building upon the anger inside of your mind.
So anger only 2 seconds?
It's only 2 seconds, and that's why they say when you get angry, pause and take a moment to be able to think about, do I need to say something in the moment now? Or can I understand why I'm feeling angry and what's really going on around me that's going to make me feel the way I'm going to feel?
Yeah.
And then you get to decide what your reaction and your response to that would be. And it takes a lot of practice because there's some people that get triggered quite a lot. But it's being able to understand that you're not going to be able to change the things externally in the world that make you angry, but you are the only person that can control the anger and what goes on inside of you. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Are we supposed to be angry? You said we're supposed to think 2 seconds.
Well, the brain releases a chemical that lets you know that you're angry for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Anything past that now is you running a story, you creating it, feeling it a lot more.
Yeah.
But the thing also is, look, when you're feeling angry, a lot of the time you've got to be able to pause to think, why am I angry? Is it an unmet expectation? And a lot of the times it is because you're hoping somebody else or something else would have reacted a certain way, and you were looking for an outcome to go your way, and when it doesn't, now, for some people, they're conditioned for it to trigger sadness. For some people, they're conditioned for that to trigger, okay, how else do I get through it?
Yeah.
For some people, they're just naturally conditioned to be triggered by anger.
Yeah.
And it's something that now you've taught your body to do. When something doesn't go my way, I just naturally react to being angry, as opposed to now I'm learning that I can react, pause, think about how I really want to feel.
Yeah.
Think about, why am I angry? So what's the real reason that's bothering me right now? And I think a lot of people that I've worked with that have turned around to say things that I would have normally been so angry about, when I paused in the moment and I said, I'm not going to give into this because I'm feeling I want them to say something, or they're not doing something I want in the moment, or my colleague reacted a certain way that they shouldn't, in my value system, they shouldn't do that. But remember, your world is very different from how other people's worlds are.
Yeah.
Their rules, their morals, their principles will never always match yours. yours. So when they do something that's out of alignment with how you feel angry. So naturally, obviously, there's some causes that will trigger people, and you have a right to be able to feel angry about it.
Yeah.
But it's not to live there. So let's say, you hear a story, like I'll hear something like, a little girl has been abused in a certain way.
Yeah.
Naturally, you would feel anger, but it's to be able to say, I'm not going to live there. I'm not now going to take that anger, go out into the streets with it, take it into my work, take it into my relationships. So that's what I was saying earlier on is, external circumstances that you will feel upset about, that you can have a reaction to say, what can I do? How can I change this? Which will leave you feeling so much more empowered, knowing I can do something about it, than sitting feeling angry and talking about the anger. But then on the other side, there's also feeling the anger. And a lot of the times when I'll ask somebody, you think you're feeling angry, but what are you really feeling? And a lot of times it'll be pain, it'll be sadness, it'll be hurt, disappointment. It's just we're taught in the little forms, as human beings that take this out as anger, or the response should look like anger. And when you think about what's below the anger and you say, okay, it's sadness, it's unmet expectation, it's hope that's been tarnished. Great. What's below the hope? And you keep going until you realize, wow, really, I'm the person empowered here to have a choice on how I can actually leave the person I'm going to be angry with feeling. Because I have the power in my anger to say things and destroy them, which means I'm powerful enough to turn around and say, I can leave someone really feeling a lot better about this.
I've just thought of something right now. I think a lot of people also translate, being strict or being, bold or being, a strong leader. And a lot of people are like, my boss is always angry. No, your boss is just a more strict person or this person. So people translate being angry to being the bigger one or the more powerful one, or just more
maybe even
intimidating. But the truth is, a calm and peaceful and better way to approach things makes you even more seem like the bigger person.
Right, because now when you're not triggered by anger, so let's say you have a boss or somebody who's consistently angry and they look at that as power. The truth is, it's not power, because they don't know how to even control their own emotions. So all the emotions are so suppressed and so numbed that the peak feeling they can only have as an emotion at their fingertips is to feel anger. But when you are somebody that says, I'm going to choose my, the people around me, my colleagues, the greater good of two of us, as opposed to me being angry about a situation, that means you've moved past ego and you turn around. I love a phrase I heard a while ago, and it says, anger is triggered by ego. And when you take the E out, you can let the anger go. And I loved it.
I like that one.